Peace and love. I'm trying to sign in to the YouTube so I can go live. But I got a great one for you guys today. Right.
They're out of the rough point every time.
Peace and love, peace and love. It's your brother Isaiah again with another one for all the conscious brothers and sisters in the conscious community, keeping the struggle because we know that it's through the struggle that we grow. Also, I like to say that it is a slow process for progress and that the race is not, it's never to those who are swift, it's always to those who remain dutiful. So make sure you stay in this journey for the long haul. Y'all already know my videos, they never constitute any legal advice. I'm not a legal counsel, I'm not an attorney. I don't wear any of those legal titles. I'm just your brother. I just share with you education and information about my walks and about my travels throughout my journey called life. And I like to extend these honors to you. Because when you honor man and you honor woman, you honor yourself. And I like to give all adoration and acknowledgement to Allah, who is the hidden temple of my life, and extend that same love, courtesy, and acknowledgement to all of his messengers and all of his prophets. And I'd like to say peace to you, beloved brothers and sisters, in grand rising to all of God's chosen people. How's everyone today? Myself, I'm blessed, man. I'm very thankful for the time. I'm very thankful for uh, the information that's been bestowed upon me and the discernment and understanding of the information. I'm going to go into the Bill of Exchange Act. I'm gonna read some things. I'm gonna break some things down. As always, just to bring a little clarity to the people. So let me share the screen and let's get this thing cracking. All right, so this is the Bill of Exchange Act. And we're going to go into this, right? This act is cited as the Bill of Exchange Act. Now it says in this act, acceptance. It means an acceptance completed by delivery or notification. I'm going to read that again. It says that acceptance means an acceptance that's completed by delivery or an acceptance that's completed by notification. Okay? An action includes a counterclaim and a set-off. So whenever somebody's taking an action, it's a counterclaim or a set-off. And a banker includes a body of persons. A banker is a body of persons. I'm going to have to explain that, whether they're incorporated or not, and who carries on business of banking. Now, the average person reading that wouldn't be able to discern what that actually means, right? So when it says a banker includes a body of persons, right? An individual, a man or a woman, is considered as a body of persons. All right, you have what's called personality that every person has, which is the intellect, or what we call the spirit within that body, which consists of two. You have the flesh, which is the vessel, and then you have the spirit, which is the actual living being living within that flesh. And that's considered as a body of persons. A man is also an individual. Okay. So when you think of body of persons, and it says whether incorporated or not, whether or not you are doing business, as a business owner or whether you just an individual, just being yourself, you are a body of persons, meaning it's more than just you by yourself. It's you and it's another person, individual that you are actually in relation with. And you have to be able to understand your relationship with your principal. Okay. Now when it says bankrupt includes any person whose estate is vested in a trustee or an assignee under the law for the time being enforced related to bankruptcy. All right. So one of the main things that y'all gotta always remember is that we're in bankruptcy. All right. This United States federal district is bankrupt. All right. All right. We're in a bankruptcy. We got a national emergency. Now, the reason why everybody should be aware that we're in bankruptcy because we don't have gold and silver. All right. So the lack of the gold, the lack of the silver as a medium of exchange for this country shows that this country has what's called some type of national emergency. So we're dealing with credit, we're dealing with financing, we're dealing with negotiable instruments, bills, notes, checks, drafts, okay? Because we're in bankruptcy. So anytime you're in bankruptcy, your estate, right, which is the interest of everything you own, your estate is your residence, all right, where you live, your address, your name, your home information, along with any other information tied to that is considered your estate. And one of the main reasons why you must understand and identify your residence as your estate, because that's where all your real and your personal property is located. Your children, your cars, all of your personal belongings, your livelihood, everything is at your residence. That is your estate. Okay. So when you understand that aspect of things, it makes more sense in you understanding the estate. Okay. Now let's keep going. So whenever you're doing business and you go out, you are vesting your residence to another to hold. All right. So you're vesting your residence to a trustee or an assignee, right? Due to the bankruptcy, right? Now, it says bearer means a person in possession of a bill or a note, which is payable to the bearer. All right. So, when I first read that, I didn't really understand what that meant. I thought I understood what it meant, but I really didn't understand what it really means because when it says bearer, right, a person in possession, you're in possession or somebody's in possession, and then they say it's either a bill or it's either a note, right? Which is payable to the bearer. So usually when we get like bills, we get notes, it usually doesn't say payable to the bearer when you get it. It says amount due, right? So when you get it, if you don't truly understand admiralty, the law of the sea, you can be confused a little bit and you can misinterpret what that actually means. Usually when something is due to you, it is also payable to you. Due and payable are interchangeable phrases. They run hand in hand. So if I say this is due to her, this is also payable to her. If I say this is payable to her, it's due to her. So it's the exact same thing. And once you understand the language, then you'll know when something or you're in possession of something that's payable to you, right? When you're looking at it, you'll be able to discern that it's something stating that something is payable to you, and you are the bearer of an instrument stating that something is payable to you, right? Now, a bill means a bill of exchange, and a note means a promissory note. So a bill is a bill of exchange, and a note is a promissory note, right? So it's letting you know that if you ever receive a note, that's a promissory note. You receive a bill, that's a bill of exchange. Now, delivery. Delivery means transfer of possession, actual or constructive, from one person to another. So to deliver is to transfer possession of a bill or a note from one person to another person. All right. Holder means the payee or endorsee of a bill or a note who is in possession of it or the bearer thereof. Now, that's pretty clear right there. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to highlight this because see, we have to get in the knowingness of knowing what this is actually saying. All right. So when it says it means the payee is always the one in the instrument that is stating that it's due to. So if it's your name on there and it says amounts due to you, then that means you are the payee. All right. Now, why is that important? Because if it's payable to you, all right, it's just like a check, right? It's just like a check. If I write a check and I say pay to the order of, and I wrote your name on it specifically, how are you going to cash that check in? What are you going to do? What do you have to do besides have possession of the check in order to cash the check in? What's the next step after you receive the item? What would you do next? Would you get a pen? Would you do some sort of endorsement? Would you take it to a financial institution? Would you make a deposit to receive funds? Okay, so if you was receiving an instrument such as a bill or a note or something of that degree, and it was saying an amount was due to you, which also means payable to you, then that would mean that as the payee or the endorsee, hold up, we got to look this word payee up real quick because I want you to be right there with me, all the way with me. I want to make sure that you understand what a payee is. See, you got a lot of things in your favor, but you got to get your knowledge up. And when you get your knowledge up, you'll be able to, all right, so they say it in different ways, right? I have to actually, I got some heat, but I ain't gonna go into it right now. All right, so a payee is a person to whom a promissory note, check, or bill of exchange is made payable, right? The payee is the recipient of the payment, is the one receiving the item, right? For example, when writing a check, the person who the check is made out to. So when you're dealing in currency, they make the currency out to you. Registration, okay? And I've been trying to explain this. Registration is the process of filling out an application. An application is known as registration process. And in registration, it's a requirement that all federal institutions register the security to the actual owner, right? It might be in your legal name, but according to law, they have to actually know your true identity. So if you was to verify the real identity of a legal person, it would actually verify you, the living person. Okay. So whenever they do business, they got to know who that person truly is, because a legal person is not the real person. So when you're doing business in your legal name, right, they have to know who the real person is using that legal name. This is a requirement for all institutions. So when you step forward to make any claims that's due to you, then they have to recognize your entitlement in the same things that verify that you think is verifying a debtor is not verifying what you think. Okay, so let me go back real quick. And that's a small portion of payee, but the payee is actually the person who the amounts are due to. All right. So in legalese, they speak in a different tone and they speak in a different way in which to manipulate or to deceive so that you wouldn't comprehend. So when you receive a bill and it says amount due, it's actually saying amount payable. Let me show you real quick. I gotta show it to you because anything that can be proven, it must be proven. So let me show this to you. All right. Hold on, let me go to Google real quick because they like to play with me, but we're gonna go to Google. And I tell you all the time, Google is one of the most widely used webs by most of all the government. Everybody pretty much use this Google as a search engine. So when you go to Google and you search information, you get more adequate information pertaining to the topics because it's a more widely used web that most companies, everybody, they pretty much use this Google and it got a lot of hits, right? So I'm gonna show you something real quick, right? All right. So I looked up, let me make sure y'all can see this because I want to make sure y'all can see this. Okay, we good to go. All right, so in legal terms, right? Check this out. In legal terms, because we in the legal system, right? A civil system at that, right? It says due and payable signifies that debts or obligations is both legally owed and the time for payment has arrived, making it immediately enforceable, right? It means the obligation is matured and the creditor can demand payment, right? All right. It says due. This implies that the debt or the obligation exists and is legally binding. It can refer to a fixed obligation, whether currently payable or to be paid in the future, right? But definitely owed, right? So it's basically when something is due, it's basically saying that it's a definite amount payable. That's exactly what it is. Payable, it says this specifies that the time for payment has arrived, right? So when they telling you and they notifying you of the due date, they telling you that it's payable on that date. So you're able to receive payment of the due balance, right? On the date payable, right? And the debt is currently due for settlement. See? So when they tell you it's due to be settled on the date that payment is to be accepted, right? And means the creditor can demand payment, right? And take action if the debt remains unpaid, right? So the creditor is the actual person who actually owns or pretty much owns the account, right? So let me go back to bill of exchange. Check this out. All right, so the holiday means the day appointed by law to keep as a holiday or a day of fast or Thanksgiving, but not Christmas Day or Good Friday. Now, it says an endorsement means an endorsement completed by delivery, right? So, at first it used to sound like, when you read this, You be like, man, but you do this stuff every day, man. And you know what? You just don't be aware of what you're doing. All right. So endorsement is always by delivery, right? So whenever you deliver an item you to your bank, you always endorse it before you deliver it. You always before anytime you go to your bank, you sign this stuff and you give it to them. You do this action all the time. You're just not aware of what you're doing. Okay? Now it says issue means the first delivery of the bill or the note, complete in form, to a person who takes it as the holder. Right? And a person includes a body of persons, rather. So it's telling you again. So when you're dealing with the bill of exchange, it's telling you that it's a body of persons. Person don't just mean one person, it means body of persons. So the more you start reading stuff like this, it start making more sense to you, right? Value means valuable consideration. Written includes printed, and written includes writing includes print, right? Now, when we get to forms and interpretation, a bill of exchange is an unconditional order, right? In writing addressed by one person to another, signed by the person giving it, right? Requiring the person to whom it is addressed to pay on demand, right? Or at a fixed determined future time, a certain sums in money. Two, or to the order of a specified person, or to the bearer, right? So, an instrument which does not comply with these conditions, or which orders an act to be done in addition to payment of money, is not a bill of exchange, right? So it's saying that a bill of exchange is an unconditional order in writing. So if you create a bill of exchange, an unconditional order in writing by one person addressed to another person, signed by the person who's giving it. So if I'm the one giving the bill of exchange or giving the order for the payment, right, in sums in money in United States dollars, you see what I'm saying? If I'm the one doing it, requiring the person to whom it is addressed to pay on demand, right? Or at a fixed determined future time, a certain sums in money to or to the order of a specified person, right? Now, I'm down here. An order to pay out of a particular fund is not unconditional within the meaning of this section, but an unqualified order to pay coupled with an indication of a particular fund out of which the drawee is to reimburse himself, right? Or a particular account to be debited with the amount, right? Or a statement of a transaction which gives rise to the bill, right? Is unconditional. So, like they saying, if you saying that this should be paid in crypto or something like that, it's saying in order to pay out a particular fund is not unconditional because you specifying only a particular fund in which to be paid, right? But an unqualified order to pay coupled with an indication, so a promise to pay or an order to pay, right? And then to redeem the payment that you're making in lawful money or in something of a particular kind, right? It's still considered to be negotiable. You see what I'm saying? So understanding that is really important, right? A bill is not invalid by reason that it is not dated, that it does not specify the value given, right? Or that any value has been given. Therefore, and that it does not specify the place where it is drawn, right? Or the place where it is payable. See what I'm saying? So when you paying these obligations, you're supposed to be specifying, where the bill is being drawn, where, on what bank? It's being drawn on who? On Capital Bank, right? As the drawee, and somebody's the drawer. You see what I'm saying? Drawing it on a bank, and it's being drawn at your residence, right? Specifying a particular person to be paid, right? And then that payment is to be redeemed, right? It's something lawful to a particular person, all right? Things like that, all right? And that's what it's talking about, right? So then you got an island bill is a bill which is, or on its face purports to be, both drawn and payable with this island, or drawn with this island upon some person resident therein. Now, any other bill is a foreign bill, unless the contrary appears on the face of the bill, right? The holder may treat it as an island bill. A bill may be drawn payable to or to the order of the drawer, right? So the drawer, who is the drawer? All right, because understanding what this is saying is critical, because it's telling you a bill may be drawn payable. So, and usually when we receive a bill, it's usually a due amount, right? So it's saying that a bill can be drawn payable. Okay, do I need to look up the legal definition? I gotta look it up, because see, you can't think you understand what words mean. So this word drawn, D-R-A-W-N, drawn, right? Let's look this up. We want to know, we want to be certain. Okay. In legal context, drawing particularly refers to an act of creating or preparing a legal document, especially a bill of exchange, check, or other negotiable instrument. It can also mean to withdraw money from an account or to select something randomly. Now you see, like just by looking up just that word right there, you see how much information was poured into the brother based off me looking that up. See, instead of just thinking I know what it means when it says a bill may be drawn payable, so people be like, drawing payable. But why not look up the legal definition of drawn so we can know what it means to when something is drawn? So now we know what it means, right? So a bill may be drawn payable. So that goes along with the UCC when it says that when you sign, you adopt the record or logically associate a sound, symbol, or some sort of process with that record. Ain't that the same thing like drawing, right? Or payable to the order of the drawer. So who is the drawer? Because it's saying that the bill may be drawn payable to the drawer. The drawer, right? Or it may be drawn payable to or to the order of the drawee, right? So it can be made payable to the drawer, the one actually doing the act, or to the drawee, right? The actual financial institution performing the act. Now it says where in a bill, the drawer and the drawee, right, are the same person. Or where the drawee is a fictitious person or a person not having capacity to contract, right? The holder may treat the instrument at his option, either as a bill of exchange or as a promissory note. So if you receive a bill as a body of persons, and remember we got back to that word persons, body of persons, all right, it's very important that you listen to the language that is saying, and it's talking about the holder, the one holding your rights, right, to be paid. If the drawer, which is the man, the secondary person, and the drawer E, the legal person, are the exact same person, or where the drawer E is a fictitious person, or a person not having capacity to contract, right? He can treat it at his option as either a bill of exchange or as a promissory note. And the drawer E must be named or otherwise indicated in the bill with reasonable certainty, right? So the drawer E, the person that's entitled, right, has to be stated in the bill with certainty. So a bill may be addressed to two or more drawees, whether they are partners or not, but in order addressed to two or more drawees, an alternative or to two or more drawees in succession is not a bill of exchange. Okay, where a bill is not payable to the bearer, the payee must be named, right, or otherwise indicated therein with reasonable certainty, right? So if the bill is not payable to the one in possession, then it must be made payable to somebody with certainty, and it must be stated somewhere within the bill within reasonable that where it can be seen, right? A bill may be made payable to two or more payees, right, jointly, or may be made payable in alternative to one of two of the same of several payees. A bill may also be made payable to the holder of an office for a time being, right, where the payee is a fictitious and non-existing person, right? The bill may be treated as payable to the bearer. So, like, in so many words, the obligation should always be payable to a natural person. The natural person should always be the payee. It should be always the one receive. It should never be payable to a legal person, because a legal person is non-existing. So if there's a due balance, it should have been paid to you. See what I'm saying? And that's what this is talking about. I mean, so many words, right? It says, when a bill contains words purporting to transfer or indicate an intention that it should be transferable, right, it is valid as between the parties thereto, but is not negotiable, right? A negotiable bill may be payable either to the order or to the bearer, right? So what it's saying right here in number 8, when it says that the words forbidden transfer or indicating intention that it should not be transferable. All right, so you know how you get a contract. And when you get the contract, it says that this contract can't be assigned to nobody else. That's what it's talking about. It's talking about like when they put a clause in there saying you can't transfer it to nobody. All right, it's non-transferable, or it can't be assigned, or some stuff like that. What this is saying is, right, or indicating an intention that it should not be transferable, it says it is valid. It is valid as between the parties thereto, but it's not negotiable. So what it's saying is, regardless, I might not can't transfer this to a third party, but it's valid as a transfer against you. That's what it's saying. So it's saying, regardless of them saying, hey, you can't transfer your rights, but you can transfer your rights to them. And that's what most of us don't know. Just because it says that it's non-transferable doesn't mean that it's not transferable to the party that it's applicable to. So having that knowledge is critical. Understanding that, knowing that, right? A negotiable bill may be payable either to the order or to the bearer. A bill is payable to the bearer, which is expressed to be so payable, right? Or on which the only or the last endorsement is an endorsement in blank, right? So basically it's saying that a bill is payable to the bearer. So whoever holds the bill, the obligation is payable to them, is due to them, which it is so expressed to be payable. So if the bill is saying these amounts are due to you and it got your legal name on it, then it is expressed so to be payable to you, to be due to you, right? Or on which the only last endorsement is a blank endorsement. So if all you did was just sign it, it's payable to you. So that means that it's due for you to pay the bill, right? So a bill is payable to the order or which it is expressed to be so payable, or which it is expressed to be payable to a particular person, and does not contain the words forbidden transfer or indicating an intention that it should not be transferred, right? So if the bill is expressing that it's payable to you, then it is to be payable to you. It is to be paid to you directly, or which it is expressed to be payable, right? So you earn that right by acceptance or by performance. You accept it or you perform it. Either or is payable to you. Where the bill, either or originally or by endorsement, is expressed to be payable to the order of a specified person. I wonder who that one thing I know is that it's something unique about you. I'm talking about you. It's something unique about you. You know that? It's something real unique about you. And ever since you've been born, everybody been trying to get to know who you really are. Did you know that? Did you know that everybody want to understand you, want to relate to you, and they really want to know how you really feel because you live inside that body. So it's kind of hard to specify a specific person who may be an owner, who may be a party of interest, who may be an heir, who may be somebody who's benefiting from the transaction, but that specific person may not be able to be recognized. See, because he at sea. See, at sea, you live as a legal person. And your true identity is just faded away. You lost that seed. You see what I'm saying? So let's keep going. Let's keep going. I don't want to throw you off with that, but we're going to keep going, right? Now it says where a bill is either originally or by endorsement is expressed to be payable to the order of a specified person and not to him or his order, right? It is nevertheless payable to him or his order at his option. What? What? So at any time you come in and say, I'm the captain of this ship and I make everything payable to me. I'm the lawful claimant of the record. You know what I'm saying? Let me stop. Hey, listen, man, listen. See, Boy, listen. Hey, listen, they ain't want you, they don't want us to know this. Trust me, they don't want us to get to know this information like that, boy. I'm trying to tell you. They hate for you to know how to, settle those claims, right? Now it says the sums payable by the bill is the sum certain. So if you receive a ticket and it says $50 is the amount, then that's the certain sums. That's the sum certain that's payable. All right, no, it ain't what I'm saying. This is what the law says, right? Let's read it again. Now it says the sums payable by the bill is the sum certain within the meaning of this act, although it is required to be paid. Wait a minute. Whoa. Let me read that again, because God damn, I've been trying to tell them this for the longest, baby. I've been trying to tell them, and they ain't been wanting to listen. Now check it out. It says the sums payable by the bill is the sum certain within the meaning of this act, although it is required to be paid. So the amount that they asking you to pay is that the actual amount that's actually that's the actual money to pay with. So the same amount they asking you to pay is the amount that's certain to be paid, right? To a specified person. Now, keep that in mind. To a specified person. Now, it says to be paid, A, with interest, B, by stated installments, or C, by stated installments with a provision that upon default in payment of any installment, the whole shall become due. Wait a minute, hold on. So we're going to have to go back up to the top because I think we may have missed something. Let's read this D real quick. According to the indication rate of exchange, or according to the rate of exchange, to be ascertained as directed by the bill. So the amount to be ascertained, to be collected or used is evidenced by the item that you're using, that you're receiving, right? Now, let's go back up real quick because I want to read something, right? So at the top right here, it says a bill is payable to the bearer, which it is expressed so to be payable, or on which the only last endorsement is an endorsement in blank. So if you're the last person that signed it, then it's payable to you. You are the one entitled to the payment. Now, because it's endorsed in blank. Now, it says a bill is payable to the order which it is expressed to be so payable, right? Or which it is expressed to be payable to a particular person. I wonder who that is. And does not contain words forbidding the transfer or indicating that an intention that it should not be transferable, right? Now, we talking about a particular person. Then when we get down here, it says the sums payable by the bill is the sum certain. So the amount that the bill is saying is due is the sums that you certain to receive. That's the amount that you are entitled to receive. Okay? Now it says, although it is required to be paid. So even though they require that it be paid, it is the sum certain to be paid to you on demand, right? With interest by stated installments. By stated installments with provisions upon default in payment of installments, right? The whole shall become through. So they already defaulted. It's time to demand that the whole amount be paid because they defaulted on giving you the amounts and paying the amounts to you as stated in the terms of your instrument, right? Now, according to the indication rate, right? Now we're gonna go down. It says where the sums payable is expressed in words and also in figures, right? And there is a discrepancy between the two. The sums denoted by the words is the amounts payable, where a bill is expressed to be payable with interest unless instruments otherwise provide interest runs from the date of the bill. And if the bill is undated from the date of issue thereof. So whenever you going out and you enter into these contracts, and you signing these bearer notes, right, payable to you, you're entitled to receive interest payments. And you just walking away from your little money. Ain't it such a good thing that they know that we were so sleep we would never understand our interest? I believe that that's what Pharaoh, when you read the scriptures, all the wicked rulers, that's what they always used over the peoples. They always had an interest over the people. Now it's all starting to make sense and how controlling interest is. Interest controls everything, man. And it makes so much sense now. It took a long time to figure it out, but it makes a lot of sense now, right? Now it says a bill is payable on demand. So a bill is payable on demand, right? Which it is expressed to be payable on demand or at sight or on presentation or in which no time for payment is expressed, where a bill is accepted or endorsed when it is overdue, it shall, as regards the acceptor whoso accepts, or any endorser whoso endorses it, be deemed a bill payable on demand. So if a bill is overdue, you got overdue bills sitting in there right now, those are payable on demand. Those bills are payable on demand. A bill is payable at a determined future time within the meaning of this act, which it is expressed to be payable, right? At a fixed period after the date or the site. All right, so when you're reading this act, right, it's a very powerful act. Let me go down some. And all right, it even talks about like non-acceptance, non-payment, like when they fail to make payment, right? Or they fail to do what they're supposed to do. It tell you all of that, right? Now, I'm gonna go right here to 15. It says the term month in a bill means a calendar month. We know that. The drawer of a bill and any endorsers may insert their name or the name of a person to whom the holder may resort in case of need. That is to say, in case the bill is dishonored by non-acceptance or non-payment, such person is called the referee in the case of need. And it is in the option of the holder to resort to the referee in the case of need or not, as he may think fit. It says the drawer of a bill or any endorser, right, may insert therein an express stipulation navigating or limiting his own liability to the holder, waiving as regards himself some or all of the holder's duty. The acceptance of a bill is significant by the drawee of his assent to the order of the drawer, right? An acceptance is invalid unless it complies with the following conditions, namely, number one, or A, it must be written on the bill and be signed by the drawee, the person who's entitled to the due amounts, which is the legal name, the legal person, right? The mere signature of the drawee without additional words is sufficient, right? It must not express that the drawee will perform his promise by any other means than the payment of money. All right. A bill may be accepted before it has been signed by the drawer, right? Or while otherwise incomplete, when it is overdue or after it has become dishonored by a previous refusal to accept or by non-payment. When a bill payable after sight is dishonored by non-acceptance, the drawee subsequently accepts it. The holder, in the absence of the different agreement, is entitled to have the bill accepted as of the date of the first presentment to the drawee for acceptance. right? Now it says an acceptance is either general or qualified. A general acceptance assents without qualifications to the order of the drawer, right? So in acceptance, a general acceptance, I'm gonna explain this. So say the drawer is the United States Treasury working through any of its agencies to interact with you on a contract. So the Treasury is the one drawing up the due balances, the bills, and sending them through the agencies as obligations due to them, to the United States, right? And the company is acting as a debt collector, as a service provider, and as an agent of the United States to collect the due balances, right? So a general acceptance assents without qualifications to the order of the drawer. So that means that when they send a bill, you accept it just by not just without any qualification. You don't say nothing. You just holding the bill, and that qualifies you as an acceptor, right? And then it says a qualified acceptance in express terms varies the effects of the bill as drawn, right? In particular, an acceptance is qualified, which is conditional, that is to say, which makes payment by the acceptor dependent on the fulfillment of the condition therein stated, right? Partially, that is to say, an acceptance to pay part only of the amount for which the bill is drawn locally, that is to say, an acceptance to pay only a particular specified place. So it's basically letting you know pretty much how the acceptance works when you are accepting on a bill. Now it's a lot of stuff in here. I ain't gonna go through all of this. Like I said, I just wanted to go over a few things just to, bring a little clarity to what's going on, man. So, and y'all need to go and really take your time and read this act, right, in its totality. Take your time, look up words that you don't know. I'm gonna read something else before I go, right? Now it says capacity to incur liability as a party to a bill is coextensive with capacity to contract. So your ability to incur liability as a party to a bill is coextensive with the capacity to contract, right? So if you can acknowledge that you are a party having an obligation under that obligation along with another party to perform, then that's basically evidence of your capacity to contract. Now listen to this. It says, provided that nothing in this section shall enable a corporation to make itself liable as drawer, right? Acceptor or endorser of a bill unless it is competent to it so to do under the law for the time being in force related to corporations. It says where a bill is drawn or endorsed by an infant. See that? By an infant. Where a bill is drawn or endorsed by an infant, minor, or corporation having no capacity, right, or power to incur liability on a bill, the drawing or endorsement entitles the holder to receive payment of the bill and to enforce it against any other party thereto, right? And no person is liable as drawer, endorser, or acceptor on a bill who has not signed it as such, provided that where a person signs a bill in a trade or assumed name, he is liable thereon as if he had signed it in his own name. the signature of the name of a firm is equivalent to the signature by the person so signing of the name of all persons liable as partners in that firm, subject to the provisions of this act where a signature on a bill is. All right, so I'm gonna stop right there, but you get the drift. You need to go in here and you need to really do you a little bit of reading on this information. It can't do nothing but benefit you. That's all it can do is benefit you, man. This is a very powerful act. And they got many different what they call it versions. There's different versions of this act. I got another version of this act that speaks, it's pretty much the same, but it just speaks things in a different way. So like I said, I could go on a little bit more, but I think I've been going long enough. How long I've been up?
Let's see. Been on for 55 minutes. Your part 2 will be in the member section on Wednesday.
And yeah, and then I've already did part 2 for dealing with the treasury, and you throwing me off. I did part 2 with the treasury of how to claim your abandoned funds from the United States Treasury or with your state local treasury. And part 2 will be being uploaded.
Part 2 with this video right here. That's gonna be uploaded tomorrow, is what I'm saying. Here.
It's throwing me off. So I got that going on, and then it was one more thing I wanted to go over. I had like 5 minutes before I get ready to get up off her because I just want to get on her at least for an hour and give you an hour worth of information. All right, so I'm gonna read something real quick. All right, provided that nothing in this section shall affect ratification and unauthorized signature, not amounting to a forgery. So you got to understand the signature requirements is very important when you endorsing and you doing negotiation and transfers. If the signature is not right, it can be considered as forgery or unauthorized. Okay. A signature by procuration operates as a notice that the agent has but limited authority to sign. And the principal is only bound by such signature if the agent in so signing was acting within the actual limits of his authority, right? Where a person signs a bill as drawer, endorser, or acceptor and adds words to his signature indicating he signs for or on behalf of a principal or in a representative character, he is not personally liable thereon, but mere addition to his signature of words describing him as an agent or as filing a representative character does not exempt him from personal liability. In determining whether a signature on a bill is that of a principal or that of an agent by whose hand it is written, the construction must favor to the validity of the instrument shall be adopted, right? So it's basically letting you know they determine who's signing based off the way that the instrument is being signed. So keep that in mind. Hey, with that said, I'm gonna bring this one to a closure. But like I said, I got part two that'll be coming along with this video. Part
Or two of on Wednesday.
part two will be on Wednesday. It'll be uploaded to the membership so that the members can get into the second phase of that. You know, and it's fire. Believe me, it's fire. I dropped a lot of science. I went over a lot of great information in there. Trust me, you're gonna be well pleased. And if you ain't got the membership to get in and start getting that type of information that I'm sharing with them, then you want to make sure you tap in so you can get all the exclusive information outside of this exclusive information that I share. You know what I'm saying? Because everything I do is exclusive. Hey, with that said, anything else?
No, and just thank them for doing the journey with you.
Okay. Yeah, and I just want to thank everybody, man, for all y'all support, for staying with the brother throughout out the years and learning and growing with the brother, And as time go on, things get better. Like I always say, the race ain't to the swift, it's to those that can endure the longest. So you gotta stay in this journey for the long haul. In order for you to extract the meaning and everything out of this information, you got to stay with it. Some of the same stuff that you think that you already read, you need to go back and read it again now that you've been studying for a while, and you'll be surprised how much stuff starts standing out to you that you didn't see when you first read it. You like, oh my God, I didn't see it. Oh, I see that. And with that said, I leave y'all as I always do in love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, and equality for us all. Y'all have a blessed, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day. And thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, catch you in the next one. Peace out, building better minds. We out of here.